Hello, my friends, and welcome to another segment of your art assignment for grades 1 and 2, brought to you by Miss Welsh. One of the first steps we need to do today is to get our art supplies together. You don't need official art supplies. Let's see what I have. I have a basket full of some things. Oh, look, I have markers and pencils, paper, scissors, tape, and so many other things. I think I'm going to use the markers and that Sharpie and these pencils. And of course, my sketchbook. Of course, these are things I have. You may have something different. Remember to always ask for adult permission. Maybe thinking, wait, I don't have these things today. That's okay. Let's first pick a ground. What is a ground, you may be asking? Anything you could build or make marks on. But what can I use for a ground? Examples are the sidewalk, the ground, or grass, even paper. Now we need something to make or marks with or create with. Examples are clothing or string, chalk or noodles, anything you can change. Think about what you have. Ask adult permission first. Let's pick an idea. Animals, people, places. Whichever you choose, make sure to have all your materials together. I'm going to do a cat that looks like this. You don't have to do a cat that looks like this, but a cat in general will be good. I'm going to walk you through the steps on how to do this and suggest other things that you can create with. Let's design our idea. It doesn't need to be perfect first. I'm going to use my sketchbook so you can see what I'm talking about and what I'm doing. When I sketch things out, I usually like to use pencil. That way I can erase and change my ideas as I go. But we also need to think about back to that cat picture. There's some things I need to do and get in my head. So the first thing, I need to make a horizontal line. Those are lines that go left to right to represent the ground. The bottom is the ground and the top could be the sky or a wall or background. Next, I need to think of what shape is a cat's body. Well, when they're sitting, they kind of look like an oval. If you have string, this would be great. Even cloth would work. The next thing I need to do is make a circle. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle. Lids would work for this. You can use whatever you had. Next, I'm going to add 2 triangles. Pasta might be good for this part. Let's see. Still doesn't look like a cat yet. Now I'm going to add his tail. I'm doing 2 curved lines. Fabric or cooked pasta, string or yarn would be really great for this, but you can also draw on the sidewalk using chalk. Kind of looks like a cat, but I think I need to add some more details. I'm going to make an upside down letter U. I could do this with cloth, a sock, pasta. Okay, now I'm going to add the muzzle. And these are all going to represent the white parts of my cat. I'm going to add his little nose. It's starting to look more and more like a cat. With the more details I add, it's starting to look more and more like my cat, Mango. I'm adding a little bit extra to the ears to make them look a little bit more three-dimensional and adding some squished ovals for his eyes. You use colored pencils or markers, Crayola markers would work, watercolors even, whatever you have. Use what you have and be creative. Now I'm going to make 2 lines with a curved shape at the bottom. This is going to represent his feet. String would be a really good option once again, because you can manipulate string however you want. He's looking more and more like a cat, but my cat has stripes. Yet his body is orange with dark orange stripes. If you have a black cat, you can now color this cat in, or a brown cat or a gray cat, or just leave it white, because cats are all different. I'm going to use these curved triangles to represent his stripes. What could you use to make curved triangles? You could use elbow macaroni or pasta. If you're using clothing to design your cat, which would be rather cool, you could take socks and fold them into certain shapes. You could use handkerchiefs. Remember, don't cut clothing. Mom and Dad might get mad. Now I have my sketch. Let's make it perfect. That's called craftsmanship. So I would go back and make sure I've taken care of all the erasures. Okay? I've outlined everything in black so that you could see it better. If you're using other materials like yarn or string, you wouldn't necessarily have to do this step. You might want to try other things, like maybe outlining with a different color of fabric or yarn, or use a different color pencil. There's tons of things you could do. I think I'm going to add patterns. What are patterns? Patterns are anything that repeats over and over again the exact same way. So I'm going to be using a marker, however you use pen, pencil, color pencil, crayon, whatever you have. You can use fabric that has patterns already on it to cover your cat up with. Let's see, I think I'm going to use this petal shape. But first, I want to fit in these curved lines on his tummy to represent white on his tummy. Now, anywhere that's white, I'm going to add curved lines. But you could have easily used something else, like elbow macaroni, change like dimes and quarters, dog food, whatever you have. It would be great. Use thread or different kinds of string. Now that I have that taken care of, I need to think of a pattern that I was talking about earlier. This petal pattern, which is a whole bunch of curved lines. What would make this great is if I was doing this on a larger scale, I'd be using elbow macaroni. That would be so cool to have an elbow macaroni cat. What do you think? Now, if you get mom and dad to help, you could even boil noodles. And then you can make the noodles go into any shape you want. Then you would let it dry, and you would have the cat. Okay, I just finished putting all those curved lines everywhere I wanted them, where the lighter orange would be on my cat. Now, I need to think of what I can put inside of the triangles that are curved. Those represent his stripes. I could use sticks. I could use leaves. Ooh, it'd look really cool if I use leaves. What else could I use? There's plenty of things out there. Be creative. Think about what you're doing. What I might do is one of my favorite patterns, which is a circle with a dot inside of it. Now, it doesn't have to be a circle with the dot inside of it, but it could be something else. When I think of circles with dots inside of them, I actually think of donuts. Isn't that silly? So I'm going to put all these circles with dots in them in his curved triangle stripes. This would be a lot of donuts if I were using donuts. And I don't think the adults in your house would be very happy if you use donuts. So if you are going to use food, make sure to ask for adult permission first. But if you were using donuts, you would have to have this cat really big, like bigger than you, in order to fit all these circles with dots in it, or the donuts, where they go. Try different things out. Make changes. If it doesn't work the first time, try again. Artists learn from what they do. While some people might view these as mistakes, it is something to grow upon. You learn something that you didn't know before. Okay, I'm finishing up with these circles with dots inside of them. A few more to go. There, almost done. But it looks like my cat is still floating in space. I know there's a horizontal line, which represents the horizon, and the top part represents the sky or a wall. But I want to make it look like he's actually sitting on something. I'm going to make kind of fancy grass. Now I'm going to use horizontal lines and vertical lines. This is a vertical line. I'm going to use groups of 4. First, going to do 4 lines going up and down or vertically. Try to make them about the same length. And then 4 lines that go left and right horizontally. If this is going to be a pattern, I'm going to keep repeating back and forth across the entire piece of paper. And I'm making sure I have 4 lines for each grouping. Doesn't need to be 100% perfect. Try different things out. As you can see, I'm going back and adding a little bit of length on some of the lines. So it's going back and forth, vertical, horizontal, vertical, horizontal, vertical, horizontal. What should my next row be if I'm using this pattern? That's right, horizontal. So I'm going to keep repeating this over and over until the whole page is filled up. What could you use? You could use rags, toilet paper. You could use those styrofoam popcorn pieces that you get in packages. You can use dryer sheets, but remember, always ask for adult permission first when using anything. They may not like it that you're using certain materials, so ask. I'm sure if you tell them it's for an art project, they'll allow you to use it. I'm going to continue this till I fill up the whole page, so I still have the bottom to do so. I want to make sure that my next row starts off with vertical lines and then goes back to horizontal lines. So back and forth, back and forth. So this pattern repeats itself, not only left, right, but up and down too. Do you see that? Isn't that cool? I learned this pattern from another art teacher. And there you have it, my cat. Remember, try doing the same thing with different materials. You could be using jars and lids. You can even use a plate as your ground and then draw with spaghetti sauce. Remember, ask adult permission first if you're using anything. This time, I would also think, what could I do next differently to improve upon the next cat I do? What could I change? What could I make exemplary? Now I can share my work. It's called presenting. That's the last step any artist does. You can show it to the adults in your family, you can hang it facing out of a window, or even send a picture to your art teacher. They would be very happy to see this. Now, for more ideas, go to Miss Welsh at TES on my YouTube channel. Be sure to like it. This is Miss Welsh signing off and wishing you creativity and happiness. I hope to see you soon.